Hello everybody, Gisele Grenier here. So in this video lesson, this is kind of a follow-up to a book of backgrounds piece that I did, where I did a glazing with transparent red iron oxide, and I got a lot of positive feedback on that video. And my friend Allison was asking about making transparent red iron oxide with alizarin crimson and dioxazine purple and burnt sienna. So the mixtures that she sent me, by the way, Allison, kudos for experimenting. The mixture that the picture she sent looked really good, really good. But we always have to remember when you take a picture, it's never going to be exact because lighting, what my monitor is calibrated differently than what her monitor is. So there's all these other variables, but the mixture looked really good. So I thought, thinking of the pigments, when I asked her what was in her pigments, I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know, I'm going to have to try that. And so that's what this video is going to be about. So I have a palette already prepared because I was doing other videos. So I just threw in a couple of extra colors. So what I have here, let me just slide this down so you can see everything. There we go. So I've got titanium white and, well, Handsy yellow light I ran out of, but we won't need it. But Paranone orange, naphthol red light, which we won't need, but naphthol red, alizarin crimson, dioxazine purple, transparent red iron oxide, burnt sienna, and raw umber. And one of the things that when I'm going to be using the traditions, on the back of the paints, you've got the properties. So transparent red iron oxide is PR101, is transparent, and it tells you all the other information. Really, when you're looking at color, when you're analyzing, you look at the color to what you're matching. You ask yourself, is it lighter or darker? Is it more intense or more dull? Where does it sit on the color wheel? You've got all these questions. One of the things to also keep in mind is transparency. And where the mixture, and I've done a video like this before, and it's on my blog. Really what you want to look at is transparent red iron oxide is an intense red orange, and it's a single pigment, so you're not going to be able to match it exact. We can get something close if you're needing to use it pure. The minute you add white to it, the whole story changes though. And my supervisor is outside the door meowing because she wants to be fed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take transparent, I might as well just put the whole thing here. So I'm going to put it in 4 squares here. Can you hear her? Oh. And then I'm going to take white. And because I need something to match to, I'm going to go right here. Oh, and while I'm doing this, so somebody recently told me that when I do my color mixing, I'm wasting a lot of paint. First of all, when you're learning and exploring and experimenting, don't ever think that you're wasting paint. Because unless you actually take the time to learn and explore, when are you going to do it? Right on the painting, and then you're going to make a mistake and then you're going to get frustrated? First of all, it's my paint to waste. But unless I show you the whole process, how are you going to see how things come out? All right. So that's transparent red iron oxide with, wait, let me just shift this down. God, that palette's heavy. I'm using my big 20 by 24 tempered glass palette. And yeah, so don't ever feel like you're wasting paint when you're learning. Like I can see if you're going to put out like a massive pile and you have to throw it all out, yeah, just put out little bits, but don't ever feel like you're wasting paint by learning how to color mix. So let's start off with burnt sienna, because that's the first thing, that's the closest thing that I have to this is a red orange is burnt sienna. And I think, well, burnt sienna is already on the red orange side. If I add, let's say, naphthol red, I think it's going to be too intense. We'll take a little bit of white. And we'll put it here. Whoops, maybe not enough. See, once you just mix the colors without the white, it looks fine, but it's too dark. Yeah, this is too red. Okay, that's too red. So when you compare that, you say, okay, well, this is the color I'm matching to. I'm gonna have to lean because there's a glare. So is this lighter or darker? That's too dark. And is it more intense or is it dull? Yeah, it's a little bit more intense. Where does it in the color sit in the color wheel? The wrong place. That does not sit in the right place in the color wheel. We need to be more on the orange side. This is more on the blue side. So, in saying that, go back to burnt sienna. We need to change the paint. Could we use naphtha red light? Yeah. Let's push it even further. Let's go to orange. Let's go to orange. Didn't take enough paint. Let's go to orange. Peronone orange. And I'm already looking. That looks pretty good. From visually seeing this, I could use this as is. But we want to add white to see how close we are. Not quite orange enough. See, as is, it's fine. White. That may be a bit too much orange. It's still too dark. In essence, we want to match to that, not to that. But just to show you the exercise. I'm always asking, is it too light? Is it too dark? That still looks a little bit too much on the blue side, doesn't it? It still looks like it's a little bit too much on the blue side. Well, I guess the point where it looks really, 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 really orange. Well, if it's too orange, you can go to a little bit of red. As long as we're sitting in the same place on the color wheel, you're going to be all right. Now remember, see, that's still too much. Remember, when you're trying to make up transparent red iron oxide is a single pigment. We're trying to make a match using multiple pigments. So, using it pure as is, burnt sienna with naphtha red light, not bad. Burnt sienna with peronone orange, not bad. Even burnt sienna with naphtha red, not bad. But the minute you add the white, things are going to change. So keep that in mind when you're trying to figure out how you want to make your color. I'm going to put up the yellow. There's a bunch of different experiments you can try, and I want to try to give you as many options as you can. If I take yellow with peronone orange, if I compare that to transparent red iron oxide, first of all, value-wise, this is value-wise, I'm squinting my eyes. They're about the same. Intensity, this looks much more intense, but when you look at the intensity of this is still wet. They're about the same, but this needs a bit more red to it. Well, burnt sienna is really the one true go-to color. And now when I look at this, that looks really close. Okay, could be a little bit darker. If I add more burnt sienna, now it's going to start becoming more opaque. That's not too bad. Watch what happens when we add white. Oh, wow, not bad, eh? How in the heck did I do that? Handsy yellow light, a little bit of peronone orange, and burnt sienna. Is that how I made it? I believe so. I believe so. But what's the one thing that we're never going to get bang on? The opacity. Because transparent red iron oxide is transparent. Now, Handsy yellow light's transparent, or is it semi-transparent? It's semi-transparent. Peronone orange is transparent. Burnt sienna is opaque. What do? Don't add white, because don't add water. Water's going to evaporate. Add a medium, and you're safe. Okay, so just to... Oh, did you hear that? Handsy yellow light. Peronone orange. Burnt sienna. And drop my brush. Look at that. And add white. quite. Not quite dark enough, but it'll dry darker. Not quite dark enough, so we can go here. So, my friend asked me about with the alizarin crimson, because the mixture she sent looked really good. So just to mimic that, and I'm not sure what her ratios were, so we'll do more of the alizarin crimson with the burnt sienna. I mean, that's a beautiful color for glazing right there. That's a beautiful color right there. Wow. But ideally it's just burnt sienna with a bit more red orange. But yeah, as a glazing color, that is really nice. Not for transparent. So that just tells me that the photography, the photograph was misleading. Not misleading on purpose, but it's, yeah, because look what we're getting here. Is it wrong? Yeah, this mixture that I just made is wrong to try to match transparent red iron oxide, but I can think of a couple of things to glaze it with, to use it for glazing. So ideally, the mixture for a alternative transparent red iron oxide, Hansa yellow light, Paranone orange, and burnt sienna. Will it work? Well, I'm going to do another video with another book of backgrounds, and I'm going to use that mixture to do the glazing, and we'll see what happens. Alrighty? So, if you can, if you like the vintage of the transparent red iron oxide, or if you want to make up your own sap green, get transparent red iron oxide. You won't go wrong. If you just don't want to buy another paint, go with the Hansa yellow light with some Paranone orange and some burnt sienna, and there you go. You've got your own little makeshift transparent red iron oxide. Alrighty, so I'm going to clean up and I'm going to get ready to do that book of backgrounds video with this mixture. And until I see you then, stay inspired.